Have you ever met a dog that was super, super smart and super, super brave? Well, let me tell you about a dog just like that. His name was Togo. Togo wasn't a big dog, but his heart was full of courage. He lived in a very cold, snowy place called Alaska, with his best friend, a man named Leonhard. Togo was a sled dog, which means his job was to pull a sled with his team. And wow, was he good at it. He knew how to run fast and listen carefully. He was the leader of the pack, the one who showed all the other dogs where to go. He loved running through the sparkling white snow, feeling the cold air on his furry face. It was his favorite thing to do. Leonhard knew Togo was special right from the start. When Togo was just a little puppy, he was full of mischief and energy. He didn't want to just sit around. He wanted to run, explore, be part of the team. One day, some sad news arrived. Far, far away, in a little town called Nome, the children were getting very, very sick. A sickness called diphtheria had come to town, and the town's doctor said they needed special medicine to make the children better. But there was a big problem. A huge, giant snowstorm had covered all the roads. No planes could fly. No big ships could get through the icy sea. The medicine was stuck far away, and the people of Nome didn't know what to do. It was a race against time. The grown-ups in Alaska put their heads together. How could they get the medicine to Nome? It was hundreds and hundreds of miles away through mountains and across frozen rivers. It seemed impossible. Then someone had an idea. They would use what they knew best, sled dog teams. They would create a relay, like a race where one team runs for a while and then passes the medicine to the next team. Many brave mushers and their amazing dogs would have to work together. Leonhard heard the news and knew he had to help. He looked at his team of strong dogs, and then he looked at his smartest, bravest friend, Togo. He knew this journey would be the hardest one they had ever faced. It would be dangerous, with howling winds and treacherous ice.
Leonhard walked over to Togo and knelt down in the snow. "Togo," Leonhard said softly, "we have a very important job to do. We have to run the longest and most dangerous part of the trail. The children in Nome are counting on us."
Togo seemed to understand. He stood up tall, licked Leonhard's face, and let out a determined little bark. It was as if he was saying, "Don't worry, I've got this." With a shout of "mush," they were off. Togo led his team with purpose. They ran faster than they had ever run before. They had so far to go. They had to cross a huge frozen body of water called the Norton Sound. The ice cracked and groaned under the weight of the sled. It was very, very scary. Other mushers would go the long way around. That would take too much time. Leonhard trusted Togo's instincts. Togo carefully sniffed the air and tested the ice with his paws. He found a path where the ice was thickest and led the team safely across the groaning sea of ice. It was a shortcut, but a very dangerous one. As they ran, a terrible storm began to blow. The wind howled like a hungry wolf. Snow fell so thick Leonhard could barely see his own hands. It was a blizzard. It got so bad Leonhard couldn't see the trail at all. He was lost in a world of white. But Togo wasn't lost. He kept his nose to the ground, sniffing out the path buried deep under the fresh snow. He remembered the way, even in the blinding storm. He was like a furry compass, always pointing the right direction. He pulled with all his might, guiding his friends through the scary darkness.
"Good boy, Togo. Keep going. You can do it." Togo, hearing his best friend's voice, found a new burst of energy.
For days and nights, they ran. They barely stopped to rest. The cold was biting, and the team was getting so tired. Togo was the most tired of all. As the leader, he had to work the hardest, breaking the trail and making all the tough decisions. At one point, they came to a steep, icy mountain. It was so slippery and dangerous. A single wrong step could send them all tumbling down. But Togo was not afraid. He dug his claws into the ice and carefully, slowly, pulled the sled up the treacherous slope. He showed the other dogs exactly where to step. It was hard work, and his muscles ached, but he refused to quit. He led his team to the top, and they all looked down, proud of what they had just done. After running for an incredible distance, much farther than any single team was ever expected to run, they finally reached the next musher who was waiting for them. Leonhard carefully handed over the precious medicine. Togo and his team had run over 260 miles through the worst of the storm. They had done the hardest part of the entire relay. As the new team sped off, Togo watched them go. He was exhausted, but he had done his job. He had led his team through impossible challenges and had brought the medicine one giant step closer to Nome.
Leonhard knelt and gave Togo the biggest hug he had ever given him. "You did it, boy," he whispered. "You're a hero."
When the medicine finally reached Nome, the children started to get better. The whole town was saved. Everyone celebrated. They cheered for all the brave mushers and all the wonderful dogs who had helped in the great race. News traveled fast about the amazing journey. They heard the name Togo and knew he was a very special dog. Even though another dog named Balto ran the final shorter leg and became famous, the people who knew the real story knew who the true hero was. When Leonhard and his team finally made it home, they were greeted with the quiet, deep respect of everyone who knew what they had accomplished. Leonhard gave Togo his favorite treats and let him rest by the warm fire. Togo had earned it. Togo lived a long and happy life with Leonhard. He continued to lead the sled team on many more adventures, but none were as important as that race to save the children of Nome. He was more than a pet. He was family and a true friend. And so, the story of Togo teaches us a wonderful lesson. It doesn't matter how big or small you are. What matters is the size of your heart and the strength of your courage. Togo, the little sled dog with the giant heart, showed everyone that true heroes are the ones who run into the storm to help a friend. And that's a pretty great thing to remember, don't you think?